What is up, everyone? Renfail here, and I'm back with another build guide for you today for Baldur's Gate 3. Today, focusing on one of my favorite classes of all time, which is the Ranger. Now, I traditionally play a Ranger Beastmaster. You've watched me stream Pillars of Eternity 1, Pillars of Eternity 2. I've done it in the Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition, Baldur's Gate 2 Enhanced Edition. I like my Rangers. I like my Beastmasters. We're going to be creating my favorite Beastmaster build today. If you've never watched one of these before, it's a beginner's build, so we don't focus on the combat, we don't focus on the mid-range or the high level. It's just how to create the character, how to get the build going so that you're going to get the most out of the stats and the race selection that you want. If you never tuned into one of my videos before, this is the perfect time for me to say like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update as we continue to cover Baldur's Gate 3 and other games like Starfield, Cyberpunk, so on and so forth. Join the Discord, links are down below. Let's get into the video. Alright, folks, it is time to sink your teeth into my amazing Wood Elf Ranger. Now, there are a couple of options for races here that I think are optimal if you're going to be making a Beastmaster. I think that the Wood Elf is a great option for roleplay, but I know a lot of people will end up looking at the where's it at here? The gnome option, and then going down here into the forest gnome for the specific reason that forest gnomes get speak with animals as a as part of their class right away. So that means you don't have to have an additional. That doesn't. It's not going to take up an additional spell slot, so to speak. Dark vision, of course, is great. The only downside to the gnome is the base racial speed, which is only 7.5 meters per turn, versus going with, say, the wood elf. Let me get back to it real quick, which has. Hang on, that's the high elf. Fleet of Foot, which gives you increased movement speed by 1.5, which means you get 10.5, which is significantly more than the forest gnomes. So the two decisions you have to make here are, when it comes to the race, is do you want to be able to speak with animals out of the bag, or do you want to go ahead and use that as a spell or something else to speak with animals? Do you want to take up a spell slot and have greater movement around the battlefield, agility, and the tactical ability to run around and do lots of different, whether it's pew pew or up close and personal, but being able to do flanking and get around the battlefield quickly and easily. So that's really your only decision. If you're looking for a complete roleplay experience, I would suggest going with the forest gnome. But if you want to go with something that's a little more optimal, I would suggest going with the wood elf. Now, in terms of passives, as it comes to Natural Explorer, I think Beast Tamer is the best option here because it gives you, it says here, you've cultivated a strong bond with animals. You can find familiar without expending a spell slot, which is pretty amazing. Now, there's some other stuff down in here. Urban Tracker, which gives you proficiency in sleight of hand, which is cool if you're going to be worried about your lock picking and everything else. But honestly, considering this is a Beast Master type class, Beast Tamer is kind of cool because it's going to give you Find Familiar and the ability to summon your pets with the Beastmaster's stuff later on, which is great. As far as the other passive go, this is where you get to choose your favorite enemy, studying the tactics and abilities of certain creatures. Is granted you a set of abilities, blah, blah, blah. I think Bounty Hunter works here. You gain a proficiency in investigation, and any creatures you hit with ensnaring strike, either ranged or melee, have a disadvantage on their saving throw. Now, as far as backgrounds go, I should say, I think Folk Hero works pretty good because it gives you animal handling as well as survival. But I know some people also like the Outlander because you have athletics and survival. But for my money, I think Folk Hero works the best because you get access to that animal handling, which is kind of the same thing as Speak with Animals, other than the fact that you don't get the cool dialogue and voice acting that the characters have when they actually have the speak with animal ability. So that's something to keep in mind. looking at abilities, these are the way I've arranged my stats. I'm going to be going with finesse weapons and bows, so I want to make sure I focus on a dexterity based build, and then I also want wisdom for my spells and other things, and a little bit of constitution. I can only get my constitution to 13 right now, but I will be able to bump that up to 14 as soon as I get a couple of levels under my belt. I've chosen a couple of strength points to be able to jump farther. I don't really care about charisma. I am going to be the face of the party, but I'm not too worried about, because I can get bonuses and everything else in the conversations, and I don't need intelligence, so there's no reason to apply it. And of course, you can choose where to put your bonuses here. I've chosen to put them in dexterity and wisdom. Now, if I wanted to, I could switch these around a little bit, but I'm pretty happy with the way this build goes. Probably the first thing that I'm going to do as soon as I can is I'm going to get this to 14, and then the next one I'll go to 18, and I probably will not adjust my stats anymore beyond those initial 2 feat selections, just because I think that having 18 strength and 14 constitution is going to be more than plenty. I may want to put a couple more points in wisdom, so we'll just see how that goes as I get into it. What's up, everybody? Quick commercial break here to give it a shout out to our guild champions, who are the highest tier memberships here on YouTube: Ancient Entity, Assassin Gamer 94, Bubbleonia Rising, Crazy's Relative, Mujin, and Remedy. Thanks so much for the highest tier membership, and thanks to all of the members who support the channel, because you keep me doing this full time. You too can become a supporter if you're new here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. Join as a member. There's 3 different tiers. We do lots of special stuff: private polls, private videos. You get a shout out if you're the highest tier membership, but you can also do one-off donations in the form of super chats on any live stream or premiere you see, and of course super thanks on any upload or YouTube short. Whatever you can contribute, it's great. Keeps me on the air full time, keeps the cats fed, keeps the homestead running. Anyway, back to the video, everybody. To it. And as far as things go here, we have skill proficiencies. You can go down the list and look at things. If you want to go play around with your backgrounds to get the skills a little bit differently. The main thing here for me is going to be animal handling, which is at 4. And then you've got insight at 4 and some other stuff. Stealth is pretty good at 5. Everything else around a 3. It's not the best face character, but that's not what we're looking for here. We're looking for somebody who's going to be the best with doing lots of damage, doing spells, as well as being able to handle the pets who come along with it, which is the familiar and the actual beast that you get as well. So looking at all of this, going back over into abilities, because this is a pretty great way to look at things here. Let's go down here. I think that this gives you a fairly rounded character. You've got Find Familiar, you've got access across the board on all sorts of weapons because you went with the elf. So you've got the longbows, short swords, long swords, martial weapons, and simple weapons, as well as light and medium armor. You can also wear a shield if you want to. This particular character, I will never worry about having them in anything more than medium armor because this is not my tank. This is a DPS utility build, so as I grow in strength, we will get things that complement the rest of the group and let someone else do the tanking. This is meant to be a sort of a harrying, flanking DPS build that we can use to help do lots of fun stuff. And we get lots of different animals once we get into the Beast Mastery tree, which means we don't need to worry about having an exceptionally high constitution for tanking or anything like that because our pets are going to be doing a lot of that for us. Now, if you've never played a Beastmaster before, it's a sort of hybrid ranger because you're relying a lot on your pets to do damage with you and to do special things. So all the pets cover different things. I did a guide on the companions that you get, animal companions that you get in early access. Some of that's changed just a little bit, but the essential things here with this particular build that we're getting to is that you can use your Find Familiar and you can use your Summon Companions once you get access to it after you've leveled up here in the early stages of the game. And that's going to allow you to have 2 types of animals that can help you. And if you've never played one of these before, some animals blind, other animals do, like your bear can do a roar to do things. There's the wolf does attacks and crippling strikes, and there's all sorts of fun stuff that you can do with your animals and your companions. So don't forget to stick around because I will be doing guides as we get deeper into this and get the companions and everything else so that you can understand all of the animal companions and the familiars and how they work with the Ranger Beastmaster. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. We We are live every day at 11 a.m. Central, streaming Baldur's Gate 3 and other games. Check out the playlists, join the Discord. Links are down below. I'll see everybody in the next video. Until then, stay safe and happy gaming.